Hello, everyone, and Happy New Year 2024. We wanted to start the year off with one of the most popular cars we've ever featured. If you followed our channel for a while, you'll remember Jim Wagnon's beautiful 1964 Ford Galaxie 500 convertible with the P code 390, along with a 4-speed transmission in episode 224 from July of last year. Well, as you'll see with this week's feature, Jim's no stranger to other high-performance big Fords. Today, we're featuring his really cool 63.5 Ford Galaxie 500 Q code. In Ford speak, that's a 427 engine with a single 4-barrel Holley rated at 410 horsepower. This engine is less common than the 425-horse dual-quad 427, so this is a pretty rare car from the total performance era. Follow along as Jim tells us all about this sweet Ford and watch the ride-along video and more. Now, let's go for a ride.
Hi, my name's Jim Wagnon. This is my 1963.5 Ford Galaxie 500. It's a Q code 427 homologated stock car. This car started out, the story starts probably 14 years ago. Some good friends of mine through the Edsel Club, the Sella brothers, Joe and Paul Sella, had a 64 Galaxie lightweight. It was the McCoy Mills of Fullerton, California drag car. I had toyed around talking with them about maybe purchasing that car, and in the meantime, a 60 Edsel convertible popped up, and I thought, that's a good-looking car. I have to have that. So that ship sailed on having that 427 lightweight Galaxie. Some years later, at an Edsel meet in Laughlin, I was talking with Paul Sella. I said, Paul, I'm kind of sad. I always thought I'd like to have your lightweight Galaxie, but that ship has sailed. You've sold it, and I don't think I'll ever have a 427 car. And Paul said, funny you should mention that. My brother and I have a 63.5 Q code Galaxie. We found it in Las Vegas, New Mexico in the late 80s at a wrecking yard. It had blown a drive shaft. And, we'd like to sell it, but we're getting really tired of people calling, and all they want is the VIN number on it, and they're not serious buyers, and we're pretty fed up. If you're interested, let's meet up with my brother and let's talk about that. They really were more interested in it going to a good home than value. They sold it to me at probably the best good guy price you could ever have hoped for. They were gentlemen. We went and they had storage in the high desert in Southern California above Palm Springs, and we were told that there's a fence built. The fence was built after the cars were parked there. You'll need to bring planks, wheels, jacks, and a crew of people. So my buddy Bob Ray and Scott Evans and I jumped in the truck and hooked up the trailer, and off we went. And we got there, and it was in the sand. We jacked it up, dug it out, put rollers on it, and used jacks on the planks and managed to get it turned and out of storage, loaded up, and we brought it home. From there, it took a good probably 10 years to collect pieces and parts. 63 Galaxies have aluminum trim that's anodized, and the stuff is just fragile as tinfoil. And a lot of that trim needed to be replaced. The car was... it was interesting as we got into it. In the glove box was a Mexican registration. And when we got further into it, we pulled the step plates off of it. Under the step plates were compartments cut into the rockers. And we thought on it a little bit and thought, it looks like they were running contraband of some kind, drugs. Who knows? We'll never know the story. But it surely began to shape up as an interesting car. So the build on this car took probably 12 years to complete. Collecting parts was part of it. And I really had kind of performance in mind. This car, oddly, was delivered with 3.0 rear gears, which that's geared for about 165 miles an hour, so not necessary. I did 325 to 1 gears just to make it a little bit more manageable on the street and still perform nicely on the highway. When it came time to do the chassis and body restoration, my wife talked to our good friend Steve Bowden. He's the Arizona Galaxie guy in Kingman, Arizona, into taking on the restoration. Steve's probably owned over 300 Galaxies over the years and actively does parts and restoration work on them. He only does restorations for himself. Like I said, my wife really sweet-talked him into taking this on for us, and he graciously accepted. He did a fabulous job. We're really happy with how everything turned out. He provided a number of the parts. I redid all the anodized trim, had it polished, had it anodized, and then I did all the paint work on it. And I'll tell you, doing the checkerboard rear finish panel paint work was unbelievable. It was hundreds of little stickers going on and satin black being applied and sticker removal. And I've probably got 40 hours into doing the paint work on the anodized trim. Steve wrapped the car up. It came back to us, I don't know, probably 3-4 years now. And it was time to build the engine. I wanted the engine to be as stock appearing as possible, but I really wanted to kind of turn it up a little bit. So what I ended up doing, it was a standard bore block. We bored the block 17 thousandths over. We took the bore to 4¼ inches, and then we put a 4¼ inch stroke crank in it. And that ends up pushing the displacement out to 482 cubic inches. We used a 282S comp cam solid lifter camshaft. And we ended up doing a main girdle on it. It's a full perimeter main girdle. And we just did things that would enhance the performance and reliability while being completely stock appearing. I used the slightly later production 427J heads. They flow a little bit better. They're just a slightly better head. It has a stock 63 Q code intake manifold that was ported and flowed by Joe Crane. The carburetor is the stock correct Q code carburetor. That was redone by Holly Restoration Services. And the whole thing came together very nicely. The extra displacement tamed that cam way down. It is a stock idling, stock sounding camshaft in this configuration. The valves click and make that wonderful music that the 427s make. The bell housing is an RC Industries aluminum two-piece scatter shield that was used in the factory Galaxie lightweight program. The transmission is a top loader. I have the T10 for it, but I don't really like the way T10s ride out of second gear on deceleration, and they're just not up to the task on these high horsepower big block Fords. So we have a top loader out of a 7-liter Galaxie, big input, big output shaft. I called up David Key, and David specializes in top loader 4-speeds, and ordered a wide ratio input shaft and cluster gear and all the gears necessary so that I got away from the close ratio. I don't care for that low gear ratio with the close ratio boxes. So we have wide ratio transmission, we have a nice low first gear, and it really performs well. Other than that, it has its correct Kelsey Hayes 5.5-inch wide cat eye high performance wheels. We have 710-15 bias ply tires on it, as it would have come. And you have to exercise a little bit of self-restraint when driving it off the line. It really wants to go. But the nice thing is it merges into traffic on the freeway quite handily. No problems there. Brakes are the 11x3 drums that they put on the higher performance cars. And of course it has the suspension upgrades that were part of the 427 package.
So this is a Norfolk-built car. This car was built several weeks before the Galaxie lightweights were built. Something interesting about this car, and we've never seen this before, here on the cowl, back behind the VIN number, it says 30MX5. Galaxie lightweights came with those stampings too. We really don't know what that means. We don't know if this was part of a program or was this part of being homologated to be a stock car. But the car was built in Norfolk, and it was actually delivered. The DSO delivery was to Charlotte, North Carolina. So that's an interesting detail on it. We also found some interesting markings on the side of it. It was marked RD under the fenders and the kick wells. And we'd love to know the history, but we really fear it's just lost to time at this point.
Yes, it is. Yeah, this car speaks loudly and carries a big stick. Did a magnificent job on this restoration. It's no rattles, it's quiet, it rides nicely.
Did he paint it too?
Yeah. Yeah, I told him I wanted stock appearing paint. I didn't want base coat, clear coat. I just wanted a very stock appearing paint job. This car, I never had any intention of over restoring.
No, then you're afraid to even use them when they're over restored.
Right. It's definitely got a little get up and go. Makes good torque. Pulls good. It's fun. This is good fun.
Thanks, Jim, for taking the time to present your awesome Galaxie to our viewers today. It's sure a great example from a bygone era. Jim loves to drive his cars, so this one, and his others, get exercised on the streets of Phoenix on a regular basis. What do you guys think of Jim's Q-Code car? Do you have any memories of these early 60s high-performance Ford models? Tell us in the comments. Check the links provided in the description to see Jim's other 64 Galaxie and to see some others we featured on the channel. We've now also got a Patreon link so you can help support us for as little as $5 a month. We're looking forward to a big 2024 filled with amazing cars and their stories, car show and auction coverage, plus more historical retrospectives of some of your favorite cars. If you haven't already subscribed, please consider doing so to help us grow. It's easy and it's free. Give us a thumbs up for better analytics on YouTube, and thanks for your continued support. Next week, we're bringing you a car that'll amaze even the most seasoned hot rod builder. We'll be featuring an original '69 Plymouth Roadrunner that has not only had a heart transplant with a new Hellcat red-eye drivetrain, but the entire donor car was used as well, from the interior to all of the latest accessories. You don't even have to be a Mopar nut to love this one. See you then, and thanks for watching.